The Matrix was right. We live in a simulation. Have you ever wondered if everything we thought was true could actually be a big lie? That all this time we have been made to believe in something, and that it was all just a deception, and that everything we see, hear, and feel is not real, because all this may not be so far from reality. In the Matrix, we are presented with various approaches that are very interesting, such as that we live in an alternate reality, living in a computer program that is only a simulator to keep us under control. According to some hypotheses, we could be living something similar to the Matrix. In Hinduism, the Mayan term that comes from Sanskrit and means illusion, something that is not real, establishes that the material world that we perceive with our five senses and that seems so real and tangible to us is just a reflection, the quantum projection in a universe of energy, of our own thought, of our perception. Therefore, everything we perceive with our senses is just an interpretation of our mind. Within the different situations that we come across throughout our lives, the mind gives them an interpretation according to our education, experiences, beliefs, and dogmas. We could give an example of something that has been instilled in us since we were children, such as the color blue is the color for men, and pink is the color for women. And he will have that belief throughout his life just because someone decreed it. We are taught that the world is three-dimensional, that it is only width, length, and height, because it is the only thing that we can perceive with the five senses. But what would happen if we could awaken our hidden faculties, such as clairvoyance, clairaudience, telepathy, etc.? But the truth is that we are so busy with our problems, desires, and attachments that we rarely wonder if there is more to this life than just being born, growing, reproducing, and dying. Many of us at some point have paused our lives to reflect on our own existence, if there will be something else. But life itself ends up consuming us and returns us to that mechanicalness from which it is so difficult to get out. The system, as in the Matrix, does not allow us to leave, and by not finding the answers, we have no choice but to return to the same meaningless existence, or simply, we're so used to the system we don't want to get out of it. As we saw with the Cypher character in the movie, there is a phrase that Morpheus said to Neo regarding this.
You have to understand, most people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inured and so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it.
So let's see that not all people are prepared to open their eyes and realize that there is something else, and they are even fine with this and prefer to be living asleep. Human beings are only using 1 to 3% of consciousness, and 97 or 99% remains asleep. It is urgent that we work for the awakening of consciousness. For this, it is necessary to realize and accept that we are asleep. How could someone want to wake up if they think they are already awake? Unfortunately, most of us believe we are awake, and we even get offended if someone tells us that we are asleep. Let's see then that in the movie, the machines are the ones that use people as batteries so they can survive. But in our case, who would use us? According to the Gaia hypothesis, it explains the planet Earth as a living superorganism, a complex entity that includes the soil, rivers and oceans, the atmosphere, and the terrestrial biota. According to this proposal, all organisms and their inorganic environment on Earth are tightly integrated, forming a single self-regulating complex system that allows maintaining conditions for life. Gaia is a living being that feeds on everyone's energy. We are machines that transform the energies that come from the universe. And if there were not enough life on Earth, Gaia's self-regulation would fail, and it would be an inert planet. Thus, we have to know that each human being is a little machine to transform energy. That is why it lives. That is why it exists under the light of the sun. It is completely mechanical, and we are regulated by the moon. Free will, almost, does not exist. Imagine, for a moment, a violin inside its corresponding case. It barely has a small and insignificant space, clearly existing between the musical instrument and the case. Such a space would give you an indication of the type of free will we possess. However, it is possible for us to expand that little free will, to work on ourselves, ceasing to be machines. We all, together with all the creatures that live on the face of the earth and that constitute the organic world, are the machinery of this great organism called Earth. But it is not only the Earth that uses human beings for its convenience. We have all heard about these secret societies, elite groups that control us. Well, in truth, they are not so wrong. There are groups and councils throughout the history of humanity that have given us only half-truths, made us go the way that suits them for money, power, and even worse, just because they hate humanity and want to see it fall. So, the first step to get out of this circle, this wheel that turns and turns incessantly, would be to wake up, to stop being in that state of lethargy, of that dilemma of to be or not to be of philosophy. So if you had the opportunity to wake up, get out of the system, or stay as before, which pill would you choose?